Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat. I would like to share with you all some informations regarding yoga which we need to observe when we do our daily yoga practices. Yoga is a comprehensive term which we all know. Yoga has many aspects, and all these aspects have enormous sets of practices. In the modern time, in many of the schools, yoga centers, yoga studios, what is taught, discussed, shared, disseminated, popularized in the name of yoga is Hatha Yoga. And also in Hatha Yoga, what is more stressed upon is asana practices. At the same time, in some other schools, we see there is little bit talk about pranayama and something is taught in the name of meditation. So I will confine my talk regarding Hatha Yoga, Asana, Pranayama and meditation one after another. Systematically I will try to discuss and I will try to bring some informations which is good for all of us. The very term Hatha is a Sanskrit word. Hatha Yoga in general is considered to be something physical. That's a partial truth, not the whole truth. It is not just physical, rather something more than that. In the Sanskrit word hatha, we see it's a combination of two letters, ha and tha. The tha represents one pranic force, which is mental force, and the letter ha represents another pranic force, which is physical force. So the mental force and the physical force, pranic force, these two are hinted at in the very word hatha. And the purpose of Hatha Yoga and all the practices in Hatha Yoga is to bring a balance between these two pranic forces. And Hatha Yoga prepares a great base for the coming phenomenon. This is little about Hatha Yoga, so we can understand the import of Hatha Yoga and Hatha Yoga practices. I will separately talk about asana, pranayama and meditation also. But here I would like to talk about some disciplines which we need to maintain in our daily life if we have to perform yoga practices. The very first thing which we have to consider about performance of asana and yoga and pranayama and meditation or a yoga program is to find out a right time. What time this should be done? The best time is early in the morning. By early, I do not mean something like 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. I mean a time before sunrise. Before we get up in the morning, we need to have good sleep. At least 7 to 8 hours or at least 6 hours of sleep is good enough for us. So when we go to bed by 10 p.m., we can wake up by 5 a.m. with good sleep. It may take 20 minutes to 30 minutes to get ready. So by 5:30 a.m. in the morning, we can commence our daily yoga program. If for some reason some of us are unable to make this time in the morning, then there is another alternative, which is evening time. Again in the evening, what time? 5 p.m. or 5:30 p.m. so the practice becomes complete before sunset. These two timings are good time for yoga practices. Still, from my experience, I would suggest the morning time is the best time. Once we have decided the time when we have to perform the yoga program, now we have to decide the length of the program. How long should we practice? In a yoga program, we have to bring a sequence of different practices. I would suggest asana also, pranayama also, and meditation also. These three together should be constituted, should be arranged in a yoga program. Why? What is the reason to bring all these three together? In general, or superficially if we see, we just see things as physical. That's a partial truth. I do not deny it. But there is a subtler reality which is not easily perceived, but they are there. According to yoga texts, existence is physical, astral, and causal. And different phenomena take place at all these levels. So, a grand balance of practices which can affect the physical, astral, and causal level will be more effective, and it should be celebrated. Yoga has got those practices to affect all the dimensions. In yoga, asana is especially for the physical dimension. Pranayama is especially for the astral dimension. And meditation is especially for the causal dimension. At the same time, asana is just not for the physical. It also affects the astral and causal layer, but it affects more the physical. Pranayama affects more astral, but it also affects physical and causal. Meditation affects more causal, but it also affects astral and physical. So, a grand balance or a grand interwoven program of asana, pranayama, and meditation would be a good yoga program for all of us. Now, I talk about length of practices, how long a yoga program should be there. So once there are three kinds of practices, asana, pranayama, and meditation, there should be a separate time for all these three. Ideally, 90 minutes program would be good enough. If for some reasons we are unable to make up for 90 minutes, 60 minutes program will also be acceptable. If we have a 90 minutes yoga program, in that program 40 minutes to 45 minutes will be given to asana practices. 15 to 20 minutes should be given to pranayama practices. And 25 to 30 minutes should be given to practices for meditation. If we have program for 60 minutes, then 30 minutes is for the asana practices. 10 to 15 minutes should be for pranayama practices. And rest 15 to 20 minutes should be given to practices for meditation. This way we will have to separate the time limit for all these practices: asana, pranayama, and meditation. Physical, astral, causal, and there is a harmony of these three. Now, I would talk step by step, little bit about asana, little bit about pranayama, and something about meditation. First, about asana. Classically, asana is a state of the body, a posture where we are comfortable with ease. When we look into the postures in yoga text, we can observe there are many. Some of them are done standing, some of them are done by sitting. So we can see there are different movements and different states of the body that we create while performing an asanas. And also we observe in many of the asanas, somewhere we are twisting, bending through joints, by joint or from joint. For example, that's my left wrist joint. Here I move backward, forward, right, left. I twist, I rotate, clock and anti-clockwise. This way, the movement through joints can be made. In all the asanas almost, somewhere at particular point, joint is being used. Joint is being manipulated. According to some texts, there are 13 joints in the body. Some says more than that. Some says 8 joints, 8 major joints. Some says 7. All are right. We accept there are joints in the body. Ankles, knees, wrist, shoulders, this neck. There are joints in the body. Through these joints, we can manipulate our body. Left, right, backward, forward, twisting. So when we devise a asana program, we will have to bring a good sequence of asanas. There are many asanas, so we can pick and choose. But while bringing a sequence, we must see that there is a good balance of backward, forward, twisting, inverted, counterbalance, and balancing asanas. We must consider this. This is about forming a sequence of the asana, and we can make many sequences. Thousands of sequences can be made if we are wise enough. Thousands of sequences of asanas depending upon our need can be made. So little about how to form a sequence, and then how to perform the asanas. Little information if you have about a skeleton system that can help us. Even if we don't have that, there is body which is wise enough to send us messages to do this and that. So we have to be sensitive enough to listen to the body. While performing the asanas, 3 things has to be considered. First, the alignment of the body. Second, joining of breath while making movement. And third, awareness joined with the movement. When we perform any asana, we have to first align the body, properly aligned. Second, when we move the body, we have to move it with breathing, either inhaling or exhaling. And also, when we move, we have to be aware that we are moving. Mind is joined, awareness is joined while movement. One question may come: how to know when to inhale and when to exhale while performing an asana? In the yoga text about different asana, there is a guideline: now to inhale, now to exhale. There are so many asanas, so it's difficult to remember in which asana when to inhale, when to exhale. The clue to this is, while moving or while making any movement in any part of the body, there is a subtle movement in the belly also. And in the movement of the belly, we will see that belly moves because of something. There is a diaphragm. When the diaphragm sinks in, belly rises up. When diaphragm rises up, belly sinks in. So with the movement of diaphragm, abdomen rises up and down. It contracts, it expands. So while making a movement, when we observe abdomen contracting, we have to exhale. While making a movement, abdomen expands, we have to inhale. This is the clue. Now we will have to be sensitive enough to observe the abdomen, the abdominal movement. So we can notice the movement in the abdomen, and then accordingly we can bring the breathing into the yoga practices, into the asanas. This is the clue. In the beginning we may commit some mistakes, nothing to worry about. In course of time we will realize the book can go wrong. The body does not send wrong messages. When you listen to the body, many things can be known. So observe the movement in the belly and make the movement of the body. And third is the awareness. How to keep the awareness? The best thing is to keep the eyes closed. But in some asana like Tarasana, if we keep the eyes closed, we lose the balance. So there we have to consider that now I have to keep the eyes open. But in many other asanas, we can keep the eyes closed so awareness can be maintained. So the alignment of the body means posture, and then breathing, and then awareness. These three, when they are joined, it becomes practice of asanas. While performing asanas, we shouldn't be too fast. We should go very systematically. Slowly we twist with comfort. Slowly we bend. This way we perform the asanas. In the beginning, we should do dynamically. Bending backward, bending forward, twisting right, twisting left, with 3, 4, 5 rounds. Once we become adept in asana practices, we can hold the positions. Like once we have twisted to the right, we hold the position here for some time. Not for long, 5 minutes, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. And when we hold, we breathe gently. We don't purposely do breathing. We just remain in the position. Breathing happens naturally. This is in the latter stage. In the beginning, dynamically. So while performing in asanas, posture, breathing, and awareness, these three must be joined to have the maximum benefit from asanas. And one more thing about asana, when we have to perform asana and we have to bend, or we have to twist through right and left, first we go to the right, then we go to the left. When you have to move right and left hand, first right hand, then left hand. Asana always should be started through right hand side, or through right hand, right leg. This is the clue. Now I talk little about pranayama. Pranayama is generally termed in English as breathing. That's not complete truth. It's a partial truth. We all accept it as breathing, so it's a partial truth because we accept it like this. But the term pranayama means expansion of pranayama, of expansion of pranic force within the body. Pran and ayam, expansion of pranic force and control of pranic force. These twofold meanings the pranayama is pregnant with. Breathing is one of the tools through which pranayama happens. There are many other tools through which pranayama can take place. Control of pranayama can happen. Expansion of prana can take place. Expansion and control both of prana can take place. Breathing is one of the tools. Now, which kind of pranayama should we have in our daily yoga programs? There are many. We don't have enough time to perform all those. We don't need to do all those. But something that we can include in our daily yoga practices. The very first thing is to have the alignment of the body in a sitting posture. To perform pranayama, we should have a definite sitting position. We can sit quiet, spine upright, neck, head in one line, shoulders also in one line, spine, neck, head aligned, shoulders aligned, and then there is hand mudra. Sometimes in pranayama we need to use one hand. So another can be in mudra like this or like this, like this. There are lots of which we can learn from some teachers. Another hand we can use to manipulate the nostrils. The very first pranayama or something that prepares our system for the coming pranayama is also to be taken care of. While performing pranayama, eyes also should be closed. Entire body relaxed and still. The first thing we do is deep breathing. In Sanskrit we term as yoga breathing or like full breathing or a complete breathing. There are some other names which have been given by some other schools. I make it simple, I just say deep breathing practice. Yoga breathing or yogic breathing. Yogic swasan, yoga swasan, deep breathing, full breathing, whichever name we can choose, all are right. While performing deep breathing, we inhale deeply. While inhalation, abdomen and then chest, rib cage expands. When we exhale, the rib cage, chest and abdomen contracts. So with the expansion of and contraction of abdomen and chest, we perform deep breathing. These expansion and contraction do not take place step by step. Rather, it goes rhythmically, like a flow wave. We inhale deeply, we exhale deeply. Without any pressure, without any disturbance. We gently inhale, we gently exhale. And the sound of breath should be audible to the practitioner only. This way we perform deep breathing at least for 3 to 5 rounds, and in one round at least 10 breaths. This way we can perform. The benefits of deep breathing is immense. Many. In my life, in my practice, this deep breathing has brought many good experiences and great benefits. If I talk about that, it may take long. So I just say it is one of the most essential things that we have to perform in the name of pranayama or breathing. Next to this comes another pranayama which is named as bhastrika. Many schools or some other schools talk about in bhastrika we use abdomen, chest both. Some schools will tell you we use chest only. From my understanding, I would recommend here we perform abdominal breathing with a bit faster speed. While performing bhastrika through both nostrils, we have to inhale deeply through abdomen, exhale through abdomen at a greater speed. If we go too fast, we get tired. If we do slower, it doesn't make Bhastrika. At the middle speed, where we don't get tired, we don't go very slow, but we go and the breathing happens, and this way Bhastrika is constituted. Bhastrika can also be done for 3 to 5 rounds. In one round, 10 to 15 pumping. Like when you perform the first round, inhalation and exhalation, expansion of abdomen and its contraction makes 1 pumping, this way 10 pumping or 15 pumping. Afterwards, 1 deep inhalation, 1 deep exhalation, we take a pause and then we go for the next round. This way 3 to 5 rounds of Bhastrika should also be performed. How to do it correctly, we can also learn it from other good teachers. The main information is, while performing Bhastrika, we have to do abdominal breathing. After Bhastrika, there is one more pranayama which is named as Nari Shodhan, which has got some stages. I would suggest one stage which some schools term as Anuloma Viloma. I would say alternate nostril breathing. It is also one kind of deep breathing, but in this we at one time inhale through one nostril only. For that we need a hand position. Some school will recommend this position. Thumb to manipulate right nostril. These 2 fingers, ring and little fingers to manipulate left nostril. Some schools will tell second, third finger at the eyebrow center, with thumb manipulate right, with ring finger manipulate left. These are difference of opinions. They all are right. For our convenience, we can find out. The whole purpose is, while performing this alternate nostril breathing, one nostril should be closed at one time. For example, I inhale through left, then right is closed. Then I exhale through right, then left is closed. Again I inhale through right, left is closed. Now I exhale through left is closed. So inhale through right, inhale through left, exhale through right, inhale through right, exhale through left, makes 1. This way 5 to 10 times we should do Anuloma Viloma, alternate nostril breathing. Hand position we can choose. This also is fine. This too also is fine. These 2 fingers and then ring finger and thumb finger also fine. Or you can just use thumb and then these 2, thumb and only these 2 fingers you can use. It's our personal choice. The thing that we have to consider is that one nostril has to be closed while inhaling or exhaling. 5 to 10 rounds of this kind of breathing is also one of the essentials. After performing this pranayama, we can go up to another kind of pranayama which is termed as Brahmari pranayama in Sanskrit. In English we term it as humming deep breath. It is also deep breathing. But while performing humming deep breath, one thing we do, according to some schools, there are different guidelines to do this, to do that, to do this, to do that. I make it simpler. We inhale through both nostrils. While exhaling through both nostrils, we try to chant Om sound through nose. And when we perform Om through nose while exhaling through nose, the sound that comes out is something like this kind of sound will be produced, something like humming bee. So this sound we have to create while exhaling through nostrils, and have to have an imagination that this sound is vibrating at the eyebrow center here. So while performing this humming bee breath, we inhale deeply, and while exhaling, we create humming sound at the eyebrow center with exhalation. This we can perform at least 5, maximum 10 rounds would be enough for us. It is also one of the best pranayama practices we have. I have made it very simple, and we try, we do it, and then we will feel the benefits of this pranayama. It is one of the greatest aid to the practices for meditation. Now, if we have some minutes left in the pranayama or in the time that we have for pranayama practices, we can do one more thing that is called Om chanting. There is a certain guidelines about chanting Om. Until now, I also haven't understood how to properly chant Om. Although I chant Om, some schools will tell you Om is combination of 3 letters A, U, Mo. So chant Om like Om. Some schools will tell you just say Om. So there are different guidelines about how to chant Om. I haven't found a concrete idea that this is the only way Om should be chanted, because there are difference of opinions. I accept them as true. From my understanding, I also have one way of chanting Om, and this is the way I have been performing, and I have got tremendous benefits. And I also have tried this with lots of people, and they all have been benefited. So I have experiential fact about this Om chanting, which I will just say. Just chant Om. This way just to go. The body knows how to adjust and accommodate. Universe knows that you are sincere enough to chant Om, and it will adjust according to our need. So we inhale deeply, while exhaling we chant Om. One imagination, while chanting Om, we can create a kind of feeling that, a deep feeling that Om sound is vibrating within our existence. Entire heads, body is vibrating while exhaling through, exhaling with Om chanting. We inhale deeply, while exhaling we make Om, and while making Om sound, we imagine that entire body is getting vibrated with this Om sound. This is the way we can perform this Om chanting. If we have time left. If not, we can skip this. Or we can choose between humming bee breath and Om chanting. Any of these two or both we can perform. Once the pranayama is done, now the moment comes for the meditation practice. To start meditation, we have to have some prerequisites, preparation for meditation. I am not recommending any kind of meditation. I am just recommending something preparatory for meditation. We all are free. We all are free to perform whichever school we follow, whichever art of meditation we have learned, we can go with that. But some prerequisites that we must observe, which will help us in the performance of pranayama practices, and that is how to adjust the body. First, to find a sitting position for meditation where body can be kept without movement, with ease and comfort for the given time. Mudra is essential. This way, this way, this way. There are lots of kinds of mudra we can learn from teachers. Spine upright, neck, head and spine in one line, shoulders in one line, body relaxed. We can slightly push lumbar spine forward, then chest widens, it opens. Little bit opening of chest also is essential to have high moral thoughts while performing meditation. Neck also still, not moving like this and that. Chin also properly balanced, eyes closed, face muscles relaxed. Head to toes, the body must be at ease in a given sitting position. Once this posture is maintained, now comes observance of this state of the body. Sincerely with closed eye we can observe our body, legs, belly, back, sides, hands, neck and face and head. This way we can observe our body quickly, not too slow, not too fast, we can just observe how we are. And then there comes a moment to use the mind and awareness to bring physical stillness. First, it was the physical way to still the body. Now, there is a mental way to still the body, or to bring more stillness, and that is to use the faculty of auto-suggestions. We will have to think about certain still things like a statue, house, vast tree, a pole, a big, huge rock. Like these still things we can contemplate. And purposely we identify ourselves with any of these objects. Like I find a rock. Now I suggest myself that I am as still and as heavy as the rock. My entire body is still and heavy as a rock. And try to establish the same stillness within the body. This art of practice is called Kaya Astherium in Sanskrit, which means stillness of body, or the practices for stillness of the body. This sounds strange or not acceptable in the beginning, but once we do it, we will feel the result of this. So I would suggest, out of love and respect, that we must include this art of Kaya Astherium or stillness of body to bring better stillness for the practices of meditation. Once we have perfected into this Kaya Astherium, now we observe the breath. Mentally we observe the incoming and outgoing breath. We bring the awareness at the top lip here or areas here. We can observe the breath flow or the friction of air which comes in and goes out. There is one more aid to understand the flow of breath, which is when the air comes in, it feels cool. When the air goes out, it feels warm. So with the feeling of coolness and warmth, we can observe the flow of breath. Up to here, I am suggesting. When we observe a minute or two the flow of breath, we will find a different change in the physicality of ourselves or the mentality of ourselves. This is the high time we are ready for the coming practices of meditation. Whichever practice we have learned, we can follow with that. We can go on with that. But these steps which I have talked about will help us a lot in the performance of the practices which we have to practice. Now, while ending the practices of meditation, certain things we need to do. We don't end immediately or suddenly. Again, we observe the breath for a minute or two. And then there is one more thing that we need to do is to observe the mental space. When we close the eyes, we see a dark screen. In Sanskrit, it's called as Chidakas. In that Chidakas, the subconscious reflects in so many ways. So we should give some time to observe our Chidakas, mental space. I would recommend whichever art of meditation we do, while concluding it, we must observe our Chidakas. We can try and we will feel the result. We observe Chidakas for some time, a minute or two, and then again we observe ourselves, how we are at the given moment, and then slowly we end up the practice. The whole sequence of asana, pranayama, and meditation can be commenced with a prayer, can be concluded with a prayer if we want to. If not, it's not needed. But I would just say start with stillness, just close the eyes, be quiet, and then start asanas. While ending, we are already into meditation, so not to worry about too much. Still, that we are ending the yoga program, just to be quiet for some time, just to experience the whole state, the whole change of state which we have after performing all these 3 sets of practices, to observe, and then we end up the practice. While ending the practice, we must do this palming. Palming means we rub these 2 places together. When we create the friction, it gets warm. So we place the warm palm on the eyes and we keep them on the respective eyes as long as they are warm. And we do it for 3 times. 3 times is enough to relax the eye muscles, and then we conclude the practices. Asana, pranayama, and meditation. Asana for the physical body, pranayama for the astral body, and meditation for the causal body. Physical existence, astral and mental existence, and causal existence. If you harmonize them together, it will bring physical health, mental peace, and total well-being to all of us. This is something little about the practices which we need to perform in the name of yoga in our daily life. For some reasons, at a particular day, we don't have enough time to perform all these for 90 minutes or 60 minutes. We can try them for 30 minutes also. But in those 30 minutes, we have to do little of asanas, like 5 to 10 minutes of asanas, 5 minutes of pranayama, and rest 15 minutes meditation. Very short. But if we have just 10 minutes, then don't do it. Just do whatever we have to perform. Other than yoga, we can just lie down, take some rest, whatever. We can do some other things. But when we go for asanas or pranayamas or meditation, we must know that we are going to be involved into a very serious thing. Serious doesn't mean complicated. Serious means something that requires sincerity, that requires a natural will to jump into it, to go for it. And when we do it with that spirit, we will feel a tremendous results of them. So when we are in a hurry, not to go for that. When we have time, proper time, 90 minutes best, 60 minutes manageable, also good, 30 minutes is the crisis management. Like we have got just that time. And because we have to maintain the discipline every day, so that way 30 minutes can also just be do quickly, something we do just to fulfill the discipline. But that's not, I am just saying you must go like this for every day 30 minutes. It is just for a day in a month or something like that, or in a week. Sometimes it happens like that when we are in rush. But below that, just skip the day, and in the coming day just perform the way we have decided to do. It's a place that we take for physical health, mental peace, and total well-being. Yoga is the surest, easiest, and the fastest way. It is my personal experience. This much information for the time being. I hope this sounds interesting and convincing. More informations I will try my best to bring through other talks. I wish all of us bring yoga into our life. One more thing, finally, I just say yoga is a must with no alternative. It is my inner conviction. We talk, we share, and we disseminate whatever we have learned. This will be the greatest service that we can do to the universe. I wish you all physical health, mental peace, and prosperity in life. Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat, Hari Om Tat Sat.